Okay, let's check to see if I'm live yet. This is interesting. Check your connection. I don't get this. Good morning. Having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm trying a new system here. Hopefully you guys will get the notification. It's Saturday morning. It's morning coffee time. And I thought I would. Oh, here we are. Hey, good morning, Stu. I thought I'd use the new YouTube thing, the camera function or whatever you want to call it. Hey, good morning, Colonel. No OBS. I was trying to set it up for OBS, and for some reason it wouldn't work. Yeah, me and my OBS problems. But I just thought this morning I would, I'm not going to be here too long today, maybe half hour. I always say that, but a lot of people have been asking me about living in Japan. Hey, John, howdy. About living in Japan, pros and cons. And I just thought this might be a good video to do right about now, especially with all the problems that have been happening in Japan. So yeah, I just thought, why not, right? Are you kidding me? I don't know what's going on with my internet. Go figure. Oh my goodness. Damn. It's hey, this morning I hit 2,300 subscribers. I'm pretty happy about that. Hey, good morning, Patricia. Actually, Patricia, I saw your question about the TEFL. I just haven't replied back to you, so maybe I can do that right now. And basically, any TEFL program is sufficient. So hopefully that'll help you in your answer. I know it's quite generic answer, but oh, good morning, Tomo. Hey, good morning, John. Welcome. So yeah, I just thought you know, it's been a hard month for me this month. I had my knee problem. I had offline again. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. I keep saying I'm going offline. So I don't know if it's my internet connection, which I'm in Japan, so it's pretty freaking good, right? This camera function on YouTube when you go live is pretty cool. At least I think it is. I was trying to set up with OBS, but I don't know why. I just can't. I got to talk to the Rue Crew, Christina, or maybe it's Eddie. I'm not sure who sets it up all the time, but you know, they got some pretty good stuff happening, like I've mentioned in the past. And yeah, I don't know. I just gotta try and figure it out. Get the hammer. Hey, Nathan. Good morning. Thanks for. Oh, excuse me. Thanks for joining. So, yeah. Oh God. Ugh. It's hard waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day. Well, I automatically wake up in the morning at that time. Went to bed about 1, so I only sleep about 5 hours, 6 hours the most. I guess it is true. The older you get, the less sleep you have. I guess. I don't know. So, yeah, I just thought, you know what? A lot of the people in here, but for people watching the replay, and those that have asked me a lot of questions, I know some of you are really good at knowing about Japan, but I really thought that, you know, I give my take on, you know, living here for 12 years, being a permanent resident now of Japan for the last 7 years, something like that. What it's like to you get up at 3:30 in the morning every day. Holy Christ. That's NFL football time on Sunday night here. But I actually wrote down some stuff, mostly talking off the top of my head, but just like points. And I don't usually do that, actually. I just talk and answer questions and things like that. But um, as you probably already know, Japan is more of a rule-based country. Everybody follows the rules. Um, it was kind of a hard thing for me to get used to, like, walk on this side of the street, even though in Tokyo, it's freaking chaos no matter where you walk. Like, people don't walk on the left side or the right side. But on escalators, as I'm sure most of you know, in the Kanto area, Tokyo area, you stand on the left side of the escalator while people can walk up the right side. In Osaka, it's the exact opposite. People walk up the left side and you stand on the right. During rush hour and stuff like that, people just do whatever. It's just insanely crazy. I will say, though, that being here for 12 years, this rule-based society, as I call it anyways, it does teach you to be respectful towards your neighbors, towards your workplace, in relationship. Oh, again, really? This is getting pathetic. You're offline. You're offline. I got to get Colonel's hammer and just smash the hell out of this thing. Japan is known to be a very convenient country to live in. For me, it has amazing architecture. I don't know. I just love architecture. I love how temples are built. I don't know. My puppies are doing something. And you got to watch out for the bike traffic. You absolutely do. It's just off topic for a quick sec. When I go for my driver's license every 5 years, they actually have a section of how to watch out for bikes. And if you hit somebody on a bike, you're automatically like 50%. Even if a bike cuts in front of you, you're still 50% to blame because you're driving the car. It just, sometimes things just don't make sense. But, Japan is known for cheap alcohol and tobacco, which for me is pretty good. No, I'm not going to quit smoking. No, I'm not going to quit having my few little drinks that I do. But it's also known to have expensive food. Go again. We have a typhoon coming, so maybe that's what's affecting my internet. I don't know. Sorry. So anyways, pros and cons. I actually made a list. I did a lot of writing. Damn. So and this is based on my thoughts of living in Japan. Hey, Eddie, is Vince done now? I was right up until I live stream. I was watching all the boys over there in Horn Pub drilling away and stuff. So I was trying to wait to the last moment to go live out of respect for Vince, and watched him for, I don't know, I had my morning. This is my fourth coffee, by the way, guys. My fourth. And I spent an hour on Vince's channel watching him. So I don't know, something about drills and Vince and the boys. I actually didn't even participate in the chat today because I was kind of busy doing stuff around the house. So I turned the volume right up and I can hear everything going on. But yeah. Anyways, pros and cons. So, and by all means, ask me any questions that you want. Compare to back, in your country, wherever you may be. But this is kind of how I see Japan. So number one pro would be education. Japan is really known to be a high-ranked country for educational standards. no, we're not going to Stanford, Harvard, Cambridge, things like that. But I think the reason I think the education here is, well, the pressure that you have as a student from your parents, especially to study hard, to get that great job. Hey, good morning, Old Slow. Love the escalator rule. Yeah, that's exactly right. 5 p.m. Vegas. My wife just got home. She's going to make me get off. That happened to me last night. I was actually watching Thailand Talk Back with Warren, Kevin, Steven, and I was pulled off the computer because I spend too much time on the computer. Anyways, yeah, the pressure you get from your teachers to study hard, from your parents to study hard, it's phenomenal. Like, here, the best example I'll give is when my son went from elementary school into junior high school. He had to study and basically write a test to get into junior high school. Since my son has been 5 years old, he's 13 now, he's been going to cram school or JUCO 3 days a week. Are you freaking kidding me? For 2 hours on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, he might go there and do his public school homework and also at the same time take a little bit of English lessons and or, something, mathematics, science, whatever it is. Hey, Bull Nuts, having sushi in your honor. If you were doing something in Bull Nuts' honor, you should be eating natto. Yeah. But also what I like about the educational system here is not only the pressure of being the best that you can be, of course, and I think that's, quite common around the rest of the country, I would say. Japanese education is awful, Tomo, really? Is the fact that they promote or try to get you to be socially active in school club activities. Try again, you're off again. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Urgh! I'm actually hardwired in through the Ethernet cable. I used to go Wi-Fi a lot, but for some reason it just kind of is weird. I thought it'd be better this way. Anyways, so yeah, like my son is in the basketball club, and unfortunately for students here in Japan, not only do you go to cram school or JUCO, but you spend 6.5 hours or 7 hours or whatever it is studying at school, and then you have your club activity after that. So you leave at 7:30 in the morning, and you're not getting home till 7:30 at night. It's hard to be a kid in Japan. When I grew up, you went to school 9 to 3. Boom, playtime. Well, if you did good. The only time you got punished is summer school. I hated summer school. Yeah, I went to summer school. So yeah, I think that's, at least one of my pros about Japan is the actual educational system. What did Old Slow say? I had students that had patches of hair fallout. School can be tough. It can be. I see a lot of students, like, because I am in the eikaiwa business and we run hours of after school, it's tough on the kids to spend 6-7 hours at school and then come in and study English once a week in our company, and they're just so tired and they can't concentrate, and there's just so much stuff to do. So thank you, Patricia. Good luck with the. Hopefully I can help. Almost all kids go to cram school in Japan. They do. And I don't know. I don't agree with it that much. I don't know. That's just me, maybe. Like, if you go to cram school once a week, okay, I get it. But a lot of kids go at least twice a week, 3 times a week, and it's expensive. Like you're talking a few $100s a month. And I know it's for your kid to further their education and stuff, but I don't know, maybe I'm just old school thinking of let your kid be a kid sometimes, like weekends. Like my son is at his school every day, pretty much, unless it's holidays. And sometimes even holidays, the sports clubs will say, come on in and let's practice, or let's do this, or let's do that. So number two is shopping. For all the women out there that love, 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 love shopping. Um, Basically, well, let's just say Tokyo, anyways. Pretty much Tokyo has any store that you want. It might have a little bit of differences. Um, and yes, there are way too many educational fees, right? I would say it's too much pressure on the children to do better. It is. It really, really is. It's a lot of pressure. And that, I'm not even going to get into what happens with too much pressure, but you see it a lot. So, shopping. Basically, Tokyo has any store you want. Um, the problem, and this is kind of a con that I didn't actually write in the list, but if you're a big guy like me, good luck trying to find like clothing sizes, shoe sizes, things like that. But convenience stores are amazing here. 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Lawson, Sunkiss, Natural Lawson. Like these stores are way better, I think, than back home. Um, a lot of, oh man, try again, try again, try again, try again, try again. Really? Is it actually lagging out on you guys on that end? Just let me know in the comments, please. But the hot food and the food choices here, the alcohol, to all the different beverages, to the bread choices. 7-Elevens here are basically like a really mini grocery store, a little bit higher prices, but it's convenient. 24 hours. All convenience stores are 24 hours. Plain and simple. Wow, I would not your mom and pop convenience stores, but the major ones, yes. Stream is okay here? Okay. And they do carry healthier food choices, but not only that, like home, you can, are you kidding me? I'm getting the offline thing here, so it's kind of weird that maybe it just doesn't affect you guys. I go to 7-Eleven 360 days a year, really? I go to 7-Eleven to buy my smokes and maybe get a Coca-Cola Zero. That's about it. I found the sizes only to go large when I wanted to bring back a gift for my wife. Yeah. So yeah, like convenience stores are amazing here. If you ever come to Japan, you got to experience it. You really do. And there's a lot of business people. It just stuttered. Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't know how to say it, but you just got to experience it. Shopping at 100 yen stores. Now, dollar stores. Back home in Canada, anyways, I remember a store, I think it was called Dollarama. And there's a few other, I'm sure, 100 or dollar stores back home with different names and stuff. But I mostly went there for the chocolate bars. Dollar stores are pretty big back home, but the stuff is crap. Like it really, really is crap. Where here in Japan, you could, as an example, go buy decent dishes, cups, maybe not frying pans, stationery, gardening. Like they have a big selection of gardening. It really is. Oh, Dollar Tree. Yes, that was the other name I was thinking of. Love the Lawson stores. They have great food. They really do. Dollar General. Dollar General. I've never heard of that actually. But I don't shop at the dollar store that much unless I'm looking for something. I was actually in the dollar store yesterday, and I was amazed at the quality of dollar store products here in Japan compared to back home. It's just amazing. Like it really, 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 really is amazing. So, um, the one thing I really like about Japan, Tokyo, and the surrounding areas is the convenience of malls. Now, Saitama, which is just north of Tokyo here, we have Koshigaya Lake Town Mall. It's like basically two malls put into one. It's freaking huge. But Aeon is the major mall here in Japan. And it's not like if you live in a big city, there's a mall. You could live in a small town and still have a big mall. Aeon has capitalized the mall market, I guess you could say, here in Japan. And I know, like, as an example, in Hamamatsucho in Shizuoka Prefecture, south of here, Hamamatsu is maybe a town, a city of 350,000, 400,000 people. And they have 3 huge Aeon malls, and all of them are always busy. So, that's something that's really good. Hey, Jackie, my fellow Canadian. Did you visit Don Quixote here in Hawaii? Pretty sad, eh? I actually did, Boyle. And yeah, I went kind of crazy on omiyage. What the hell is omiyage in English? Presents, gifts. It's kind of funny that I was shopping at a Don Quixote for Hawaiian products, but it wasn't compared to Japan, it wasn't the greatest here anyways, right? Dollarama, yes. I think Japanese shopping mall pretending the US shopping mall. Really? I don't know. I like Japanese shopping malls. Like, they're clean. So, but that's what I have anyways. But also, like with the Aeon, but what I really, really like about shopping in Japan is you have unique areas, especially in the Tokyo area. Like it does get redundant after a while of each area kind of starts looking the same. But, you want electronics, you go to Akihabara. And Akihabara actually does have Yodobashi Camera electronics store, which is the biggest in the world. 9 or 10 floors. Like it's an amazing, amazing place to shop. And it has everything you could ever want. And I'm not talking just electronics. You got household stuff like rice cookers and vacuum cleaners. It's got a watch place. It's got makeup. It's not cell phones. It's like everything you could ever think of, right? The malls here are slowly going downhill. Malls have AC. You can live there. Yeah, pretty much, eh? I know that, like, in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and Jackie might know this, is I used to work at a mall called Center Mall on Barton Street in Hamilton years and years and years ago. Popular old school style mall back then. Like, really? Oh, there we go again. And it now changed into like a box store area years ago. It seems like it's actually gone down a bit, but I used to hang out in another place called Jackson Square in downtown Hamilton. That's still there, always changing. But malls, I don't know, like I think the strip malls are doing a lot better. The box chain area stores, whatever you want to call it, seem to be better. But it depends, I guess, where you are. In Japan, malls are great and they're always busy, I think. And different areas. Going back to what I was saying about like Akihabara, it's a tourist area, but it's also a great area to go shopping. Ueno is another good place to go shopping for tourist area, but for cheaper like sports clothing, sightseeing, but also eating street kind of food. So in Tokyo area, there is a different thing of shopping available. I don't know that mall. Jackson Square, downtown Hamilton, or Center Mall? Oh, Jackson Square is still there, yes. My grandmother's favorite mall used to be in Burlington, whatever that was called, by the highway. I used to have to drive her out there like every weekend because that was her go-to mall. It was kind of weird. So, all right. Number 3 pro is food. Now, no other city in the world or metropolis has more Michelin star restaurants than Tokyo. Tokyo is amazing for food. You might, it depends on what cuisine you want, but you might have to look for it. But every food available in Tokyo is there. You just got to find it, right? Lime Ridge Mall is another Hamilton mall. Yes, I used to actually like Lime Ridge Mall too. Hey, Paula. Good morning. Damn you. Damn you. Try again. Try again. Oh, there we go again. Back. Think about it, though. Japanese food is available everywhere around the world. No matter where you go, it's a very trendy, or at least it used to be anyways, but it's a very trendy, Burlington Center. Yes, that's what it was. Burlington Mall just recently changed to Burlington Center. Ah, okay. Japanese food is it was a very trendy thing to go out and do with your friends, so on and so forth. It's very widely popular in every country of the world now, which only makes sense that all the food that's available around the world is in Tokyo. There is nothing I cannot get. I even found a place that has a good poutine in Shimo Kitazawa. It's an actual Canadian restaurant. And if you've never had poutine, you just need to go out and get poutine. But you need to have the right cheese curd. And the one in Shimo Kitazawa, which is in like west of Tokyo area, actually serves a really good poutine. And I was actually just watching Paul from Critical Eats Japan. He was, I guess, vacationing or went back home to Halifax. And he had like check this out, okay? A pulled pork poutine. Now, poutine, for any of you that don't know, is French fries with cheese curds and gravy. You pour the gravy on top, the cheese curds melt, it's heaven. But having barbecue pulled pork on top of that, oh my God, it's amazing. Well, good morning, Christina. Oh, lots. We have Japanese, Chinese, and Thai restaurants here. Awesome. Actually, Thai food is really hard to find in Japan. Well, not hard. A good Thai restaurant. There's a lot of Thai, Vietnamese. There's even a Cambodian restaurant, which is kind of weird because they kind of serve more just Thai. I have never had cheese curds. Really? I think you should make Eddie go drive up to Montreal and bring you back poutine. It's amazing. It really is amazing. I am less mad as I was yesterday. Okay. I've never had cheese curds until Culver's. Ah. Thank God. No fancy OBS tonight. Actually, Christina, I actually mentioned to you earlier in my stream that I needed to maybe do a conference call with you to really try and figure out how to get OBS, because I create a new live event and then I put that stream key or whatever into my OBS, but it never seems to connect. But if I do the other way, I can do it, but then when it shows up in my videos, it shows like a date like I did 3 months ago. So I'm going to have to talk to you guys about that, I think, one day. So yeah, food. Excuse me. Sorry. Of course, fast food here in Japan is amazing. Yeah, we have McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Moss Burger, Lotteria. You got all those kind of things. But for me, having fast food is like going to Yoshinoya and getting like a gyudon, which is like a beef bowl on rice. Um, and you just basically walk in. You can go to the machine, put the money in, get your ticket, hand it to them, and within 2 minutes, a minute, they're giving you your food. You can sit there and eat it. You can take it out, whatever you got to do. Fast food is amazing. Plus, the convenience of the convenience stores with their hot food choices. Like 7-Eleven is one of my more favorites for hot food. Like we get karagebo, like chicken karage, chicken pieces on a stick. You get korokke, which is basically mashed potatoes with something. It's kind of like in a shape like this, deep fried. You can get chicken pieces, spicy chicken, yakitori, like all these different things. And then off to the side of that, you have even your like pre-made bento boxes for like $3, $4, maybe $5. Food here, like a lot of people think it's expensive, and it can be, but if you know how to shop, there's nothing cheaper than food choices here. I know when I go back home to Canada, like I'll go to like these super places like Fortino's. I don't know if anybody has ever even heard of that before. That's just something that popped in my head, where they have the hot food areas, but for $10, you're still getting the same thing you could get here for $3. It can get a little bit ridiculous at times. Because I have a major potty mouth. Never, I say never cross Mrs. Rue. Am I using a Mac? No, I'm just using a regular PC, like Windows, whatever. I have a Dell XPS computer. I don't know. Just some monster big ass computer that I got recently. Did I answer the question? I hope so. I love to cuss, but you don't cuss on your videos. So I think Eddie stops you on that, doesn't he? All right. Here's another one. Is a pro, but it could also be a con, is health insurance. So here in Japan, we pay a monthly premium based on your income. Have you tried Streamlabs? Streamlabs seems to give me issues. I've tried Streamlabs. I don't like the setup of it that much. But health insurance, it all depends on your income for the first year. After that, you're basically paying a base rate. I think the average monthly cost for health insurance, the Japanese National Health Insurance Program here, is about $220 a month. A lot of people are like, huh? $220 a month? And then, of course, that covers you up to 70%. When you still go to the dentist, hospitals, the doctor, you're going to pay that 30%. But at least it includes dental and everything. I know back in Canada, at least when I was working, you had your like Ontario, your OHIP, I guess it was called. But then dental insurance was a separate thing. At least here, it's all included, and you still get covered 70%, 50% on some things, but almost everything would be covered, except for, if you go to the hospital to get your potty mouth fixed, yeah, you're paying 100%. Hashtag just saying. Jobs. This is a big one. A lot of people ask me and I wanted to do a vlog on this, but I find it kind of hard. So working in Japan, as a foreigner, 99% of people coming to Japan are going to get an English teaching job. It is not like I had made in my last vlog there. It's not the be all of end all dream jobs. Of course not. Wow, health insurance is really that expensive? Everybody needs a mouth transplant. I don't know about American health insurance. I heard it's expensive. You guys don't have a really good healthcare system there, I hear, but I don't know. But yeah, jobs. Getting a job in Japan as a foreigner, you're going to teach English. Right now, the average salary is really low compared to what it was like 20, 30 years ago. You're going to make average 2,500 a month. But you're going to work a maximum of 29.5 hours. Anything after 29.5 hours, you're basically almost considered full-time kind of thing or something like that. And then the company has to put you on a different thing. So, yeah. Working for English teaching companies, they will help set you up in an apartment, albeit that's going to be a small apartment. And then they do provide you with starting loans. I know for my company, we always say to people, like, have at least $2,500 to start when you first come here. Because if you start, say you start in October, anytime in October, doesn't matter. You're not going to get paid for October's monthly salary or prorated for however many days you work until November, the end of November. So you're waiting 25 days to get that paycheck. So is that the only job you can get? For me personally, no. I'm sure that I could get other jobs. It depends on your language ability also, though, right? Right now, there's a big craze of a lot of foreigners coming to Japan, like people from Nepal, China, kind of in that kind of area are working a lot of convenience stores. There's a lot of factory workers, a lot of work in factories. And, you know, Japan and Brazil have a lot of ties and stuff. But two of the major factory areas are in Ota-Gunma and Hamamatsu in Shizuoka. And a lot of those are really big Brazilian communities where they work in a lot of factories and stuff. So is that the only job you get? Not law. They get good salary, but they said complain a lot. What are you talking about, Tomo? Not law. Healthcare here for my family is 5,400 yen a year deductible, 500 per, wow. That's a lot. And I'm complaining about $220 a month. Wow. But mind you, I remember like 25 years ago when I lived in Vancouver, I was paying a premium of $35 a month. So maybe I'm comparing too much there. Fidelity, 1,000-month employee contributor, employer contribution, oh my God, is the same 1,000, matching USA. I have a choice of 5 or 6 plans, 3 HMOs and 3 PDPOs. English teacher. Actually, English teachers don't get paid that well, Tomo. Not as good as they used to. Now, based on hours worked per dollars an hour, but it still gives you your free time and stuff, but it's still not the greatest job. I do know, like in the future, because I used to work in the casino business for almost 15 years, once they build the integrated casinos here, I'm probably going to inquire as to what jobs are available, what kind of pay. But for me, working here in Japan, a lot of people looked, hey, good morning, DM. Here. But honestly, it's a pretty good job, especially if you like kids and especially if you like to see the growth of children, you know, so on and so forth. It's pretty rewarding. And I know some of you from a long time ago, like that JCJ group, Japan Circle Jerks, they always put down English teachers. Yeah, they're just a bunch of idiots, but it's actually a good, rewarding job. And honestly, it's not a career job. For me, it could be. And well, so far it is. But a lot of people come over here and do a contract or two, 1 or 2 years. They can work, enjoy the culture, travel around Japan on days off and stuff. And it's pretty good for, I'd say, like up until you're about 35, 33, it's a pretty good job. After that, you need to get higher up in the company to actually make it a career. So almost English teacher get good salary than Japanese people. That is not true, Tomo. I'm sorry to bust your bubble on that one. But being in the English teaching field for 12 years and compared to a lot of my friends that work, we don't get a lot of English companies do not give you winter bonus and summer bonuses. They will give you a low salary bonus once a year, maybe, $1,000 bonus once a year, 1,300, 1,500, whatever it might be. It's not the greatest. I am a facility maintenance mechanic at a pharmaceutical company. Those were a lot of big words to say. Mechanics make good money, I think, though. My English teacher goes to Hawaii every year. Well, that's good for him. He should go see boiled nuts, too. Drew, does your healthcare cover ambulance service? I've never taken an ambulance, so I don't know. But I think no, or maybe a part cost, but I don't think so. I heard once where one of my teachers had to take an ambulance and they had to actually pay for it. They got a bill. So maybe it is separate. So maybe not. Is there a fire tax for fire department service? Not that I know of. Not sure at all. We're having sushi for dinner tonight. Yeah, Eddie was saying you were having dinner in my honor or something like that. OMS, I can't remember. But yeah, only $42,000 a year. It's, I don't know, maybe about $7,000 a year more than I make. I make, you know what? Like, I do about 35, it depends, 36,000 a year. Oh, 30, yeah, I'd say 36,000 a year. So what's that, 3,000 a month? So it's not the greatest job for pay, right? Ambulance service, I think, fails under the government and fire department. I think so, right? Is there a property tax? Yes, there is. We do pay property tax once a year, which I'm getting into. I'm going to get into the cons or kind of things like that. But real quickly, though, oh, no, I'm going to wait. Make you wait. Let's move on, though. Public transport is my last con that I had. It's clean. If you've ever been to Japan and you got into a taxi, you swear to God you were sitting in heaven. Not only are Japan taxis the cleanest probably in the world, in my opinion, but the doors open automatically for you and close automatically for you. The taxi drivers are polite. It's amazing. Of course, you all know, and I'm sure you've seen, trains are freaking immaculate here. They are late sometimes, but when you got the Shinkansen and you have 23 different train lines running through Tokyo and going out into all the other different prefectures, you do not need to own a car here. You really do not need to own a car. The bus system is pretty good here. Yeah, you might be only 3 buses an hour on that route or 5 buses an hour, things like that. But transportation here is freaking amazing. Uber, I believe, is here. Not as popular. It was funny, is when I was in Hawaii last year, I was standing out front of Duke's restaurant in Waikiki Beach. And I was visiting with my friends Brian and Etsko. And Brian's like, yeah, I got to call Uber. And I was like, what the hell is Uber? So I guess being in Japan, I was a little touched off base about Uber. But What's really, really popular here is Uber Eats. Do you have that where you guys are from? I don't know. Like Uber Eats is kind of funky. You can order KFC through Uber Eats. That was kind of weird. Hello, Mumu. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Almost English teacher get married with rich Japanese women so they don't need to work hard in Japan. Tomo, where are you coming up with all this stuff? Again, not true. Maybe in your experiences of where you are or talking with your English teacher a lot, I don't know. I've worked with over 300 individuals that have worked for me or taught for me, and I've seen maybe less than 2% actually get married and stay in Japan and not marry a rich Japanese girl because they're a female. But yeah, no, I don't think that's true. Yes, Uber Eats, never tried. Uber Eats is the best. Drew, is Hiromi rich? No. I'm not saying. But I will say this. Compared to where I live, that's all I'm saying. It's not my apartment. It's not my mansion, but it was hers before I came here. You all know that. I do not claim that I own this place. Of course not. But yeah, I'm pretty well off. So, but I still work hard for my money. And we do not do the typical Japanese thing where a lot of the Japanese wives will take the husband's paycheck and give them an allowance every month, things like that. We split everything right down the middle, like really right down the middle. And the reason we do that is for the fact that I do have alimony and child support payments that I make every month. Yes, both. And I don't want it to affect her life. So just a little info there for you. Sushi is here. Got to run. Inbox me on Facebook about your OBS when you think about it. I will. Christina, thank you for joining. What, you're not going to watch me on the big TV? Really? My wife wasn't rich, comfortable, but not right. Well, yeah, exactly. I'm comfortable. Like, what is rich? What is comfortable? What is poor? Honestly, for me personally, I could live in one room. If I was single, alone, living in one room, I don't care what my apartment looks like as long as I'm comfortable. I don't go out and spend extraordinary amounts of money unless I'm with my son. Then it's basketball. But come on. Okay, there it is again. Fidelity. Tomo, please introduce me to wealthy lady. It's okay, I'm wealthy too. I won't introduce rich girls. Tomo, anything still breathing okay for me? Oh man. Multi-millionaire are always very stingy, trust me. Yes, they are. Right? I have a lot of rich friends. I'm not saying that they're my friends because they're rich, but I honestly find that the more money you have, there's a reason why you have money. A, you've worked hard for it. B, you've shopped smart. You know, you're not just going to spend. Here's an example. I have learned that don't go shopping for certain food until 8 o'clock at night when the grocery store actually puts it on for half price. Why go an hour earlier when you're going to pay $5 when you can get it for $2.50 an hour later? You know, and the dollar store is great to shop at with decent quality products. So my wife and I will be really poor soon. I'm retiring. Yeah. Well, as long as you save money for in the long run. Certain people have different lifestyles, so on and so forth. So, yeah, that was way off topic. Public transport was there. So yeah, basically, Japan is a very clean country. It's got a low crime rate, which I absolutely love about Japan. Crime in Japan is kind of crazy and weird when it does happen, though. It's got good tech, even though we still use fax machines, but hey, friendly, it's inviting. Um, I cannot say enough good things about Japan. Um, there's too many conveniences here to spoil you, and the the, the I guess the last pro tip I would say would be like the high quality of service. Customer service here, you can get good and bad, but for the most part, customer service is freaking amazing here in Japan. It really, really is. And there's no tipping, which people work hard in the food and beverage service, say. Like me being a bar owner from years past, um, like I would pay my waitresses about $6 an hour because they were making $150 a night in tips. Here, they'll pay you $12, $15 an hour, $10 an hour, whatever it may be, because they enjoy what they do. So I think the service here is quite good. And yes, Tomo, you are weird. You are weird. Sorry, you are completely true. Japanese crime here is very creepy. You have the suicide forest. You have different certain things. When people commit crime here, it is like it's just weird. It really is. My parents are one of the millionaire in Hawaii, but all the people always say that our family is stingy, and that is one thing that makes me embarrassed all the time. Don't be embarrassed. Be stingy. I always I'm stingy. And here's a good example. And I kind of wish I listened to Hiromi at the time, but I was shopping for a pair of running shoes, and I bought like a $30 pair of running shoes. And I could go run and get them and show you, but it defeats the purpose. I was told, no, buy the $80, $100 pair of running shoes. And I was like, no, I just need something for walking, blah, blah, blah. And along the shoe, you have like the sole or whatever, and it's actually coming apart right here after like 2 months. And I was like, damn, I guess I should have listened. But maybe I'm hard on. Sorry, my boss said get off, walk the dog, and go to dinner. Watch you in reruns. Jim, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you here, sir. Have a good evening. My parent is stingy, but not the daughter, me. Let's take a twist into this Japan pros and cons. I'm streaming a lot longer than I thought, as usual, because I actually have to leave in a relatively short amount of time here. Cons, work life. The culture in Japan is all about working here. And you are basically expected to show up early for your shift and to leave late, to basically overwork every single day that you work here in Japan. A lot of foreigners come. My monitor here. A lot of foreigners come here and do not understand about overworking. Ouch. They've tried creating these special days. I forget what it's called, like on a Friday where they let you off work early, things like that. But working in Japan is crazy. Like, you need to overwork. This might not sound the greatest, but if you're sick, they almost expect you to use your paid vacations to cover your sick days. And I've heard it many times where, oh, I need to apply for PV, paid vacation, because I had some sick days. Well, that's what it's for. When I grew up and I had jobs, we had actual paid vacation days and an allotted amount of sick days per year. A bit different that way. Paid vacations itself, you are not really, it's an Try again, try again, try again, try again, try. Come on. Skipping. Oh, there we are. Back again. Where you want paid vacations or you want to take a vacation, take it during Oban in August. Take it during Golden Week in May, where all the companies get time off. Or take it during kind of like the 27th of December to the early part of January, where kind of the winter vacation time. To actually take a vacation, apply for your paid vacations in March or April when the school year is starting. No. It's kind of, are you kidding me? No, we're back again. It's kind of unheard of and kind of frowned upon, right? And obviously, too much work stress leads to, you know what? I'm not even going to say it. Cost of living is another con that I came up with. I wrote down here, like, the cost of living can be high for what you get. Now, okay, you live in the middle of Tokyo and you're paying $1,200 a month rent. But for that $1,200, you're getting one room with a hallway, kitchen, bathroom. That's it. Whereas, say, in Vancouver, Canada, or somewhere, not downtown, but you might pay $1,200, $1,600, but at least you're getting a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment or a 1-bedroom apartment, you know, things like that. So it depends. It just basically on, for what you get, it can be expensive, right? And Moto, no, good morning or good evening. Thanks for joining, buddy. And apartments here are like shoe boxes. It's crazy. If you are pretty much in the debt, if you're a single person, there is no need for you to have like a complete 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, or we call it 2DK, 2LDK, 2 rooms with a living room, dining room, and kitchen type of thing. So things like that are expensive. Food, I mentioned as a pro, but also the best example I can come up with is fruit. Fruit in Japan is freaking expensive. Bananas are cheap, but apples are about $1 an apple, $1.25 an apple. You may pay about $5 for 4 apples. Melons. I'm sure you guys have seen videos where, you know, melon or honeydew, maybe not honeydew, but melons. You know, they pay up to $100. Or strawberries. You get the jumbo strawberries. You get like 6 in a pack for $100. Like, really? I don't eat fruit. I really, really do not. Good morning, Buttercups. Buttercups, while you're here, did you happen to get your package yet? Or it might still be on the way. I really hope you got it, though. I'm hoping to say yes. Hey, come on, say yes, you got it. Please. Those apartments can fit in my house 4 times, right? Exactly, right? Oh, you got it! Yay! Good. Will you send me a picture so I can add it into a vlog? It doesn't have to be of your face. It would be nice, though. Just so I can promote my products. You know, customers actually getting my products. Thumbnail. House bills. And blind you, come on. Yes, I remember actually, Moto, you when you stayed at that Airbnb right by Tokyo Dome, you were saying how, you know, kind of small. No, was it small? I think so, but yeah, things are really small here. So, like I had mentioned, house bills. There is a bit of increase every year on things like that, but sending you a pic of me, awesome. With the hat, awesome. Now, I don't have one here. We do not have central heating here in Japan. As most of you know, if you're familiar with Thailand, Japan, Vietnam, we have like it's like a heater aircon thing machine on the wall, and those can get expensive. If you are one of the type of people that love aircon or love heat in the winter without throwing extra clothing on, or so on and so forth, it will get expensive. And you're looking at $100 to $150 a month. That's expensive to Japan standards. I know that like my sister back home pays anywhere, and she has a big 3-bedroom mansion style home, but she pays anywhere from $300 to $500 a month for electrical bill, or utility bill, whatever you call that. Yeah, she is here. They're sleeping right now. Can you actually see that? Chibi. Hi, Moko. Where's Chibi? Oh, there's Chibi. Hey, Chib. Oh, she just got a haircut yesterday. 6 hours, because we can only take one at a time. Hi, baby. Mwah. She smells good. So that's Chibi. Still my little baby. And of course, Moko wants to come up. Ah, this is my baby. Hey, Mama. Hey. Yeah. Is that you? She's looking at the thing going, huh? Why can you only take one at a time? Oh, trust me, if I had both in my lap, they'd be going nuts. But yeah, electrical bills for Japan standard can get expensive. It also depends on how you cook. You could have an electric burner, adds more to the cost. Gas is actually relatively cheap here, and a lot of places that you rent usually include water. So, that's okay. But if it doesn't include water, then, oh man, like some people take 2 or 3 showers a day, do laundry every day, washing dishes. It can get actually expensive in a way. So here's a con that kind of bothers a lot of foreigners when you come in Japan is renting. Japan can be closed-minded at times. As much as I love this country, trying to rent a place as a foreigner can be difficult, can be frustrating. You have a lot of owners out there that just don't trust foreigners, and I respect that. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I understand, right? They just trust their own kind when renting. But there's a few companies out there nowadays, like Leo Palace, Mini Mini. Mini Mini is another rental agency where they support foreigners. And try again, and boom, we're back. Okay. Well, they actually do make companies to help foreigners rent. So I find it as a con. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, please. Thank you. Just for the fact that if you don't get help and you try to do it on your own, you might have a hard time trying to rent. I noticed Colonel had asked about gas prices for cars. Right now, we're paying about, honestly, I don't even look, but about 130 yen a liter, maybe. I don't know. Tomo, if you're still here, you might be a good idea for you to, because you drive to work every day, how much for a liter of gas here in Japan? Because I don't. Because I live right in the middle of Tokyo, I don't really see that many. I don't walk past gas stations that much. So, hey, Sean, good morning. Usually you need a sponsor to get accepted as a renter, right? Yes. Depending on what company you go through, but usually you need a guarantor to rent here in Japan. And depending on the company itself, the rental agency, you might have to pay key money and gift money and all these things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check one of my older videos on Leo Palace. But real quickly, when say you're going to rent a place for $500 a month, let's just keep it quite easy. They might ask you for, instead of like, I know back home we used to pay like first month's and last month's kind of thing. And when you move out, if there's damages, they'll take the damages off your last month's rent, things like that. But here, you actually pay your first month's rent, plus they might ask you for 2 more months' rent. They might ask you for key money, which is a non-refundable kind of style thing, or they might keep that for damages. But then there's the gift money, where you might have to pay equivalent of a month's rent just for saying, oh, here, thank you for letting me rent. Really? And then sometimes you might also have to pay upfront a cleaning cost charge of about $300. It's about an average of $350 a month. I mean, $350 one-time cost, so that when you move out, they use that to clean your apartment, even if it's like go wash the floor and done. So yeah, renting is kind of sucks sometimes, and sometimes there's high costs. But there are ways around that. You just got to look and figure out what's best for you. I love the Japanese culture, but would rather live in Thailand. You know, Thailand's a lot cheaper, obviously. I'm sure some of you probably subscribe to a few of my buddies' channels and stuff. And like Chuck and Paige were just here. I was on Talk Back Thailand, or Thailand Talk Back last night with Warren, Kevin, Steven. And there are a lot of pros and cons. I have mixed feelings about Thailand, to be quite honest. And the biggest mixed feeling I have, is living in hot weather or tropical, whatever you want to call it, year round. I don't know. I like the cold sometimes. So anyways, bank account and cell phone is another con. Opening a bank account can be easy in Japan. Is the post office here actually, come on. The post office actually has a banking system here. So going there, it takes about an hour to open up a bank account. If you go to one of the major banks like Mitsubishi UFJ or SMBC or something like that, it can be a bit difficult to open it up there. It is difficult. Cell phones, if you do not have a credit card coming to Japan, or you do not outright buy a cell phone for $1,000, good luck trying to get a cell phone, a 2-year cell phone plan here, which is basically how you're going to save money. I actually just changed my cell phone plan yesterday, which is in my next vlog coming up. A little bit I mentioned about it. But there are prepaid options here, SIM card options, things like that. So you're not out of the woods, but yeah, getting some, like a lot, this is a foreigner's perspective, but when you first come here, sometimes it can be hard getting a cell phone. So do you have to pay a damage deposit for animals in Japan? I actually do not know that. I would imagine, well, I don't think so, because they charge you not a damage deposit, but a cleaning deposit, so on and so forth. But it's very difficult to rent apartments if you have pets. A lot of owners just do not want it. I know a friend of mine, she moved from her mom's house into her own apartment a couple of years ago, and she had a cat. And she was looking for almost a month. And she had to choose an apartment that accepted cats and dogs, small dogs, but it wasn't in the area that she really wanted. Are some of these fees starting to change and go away? No, they are not. Well, some of them actually are. Like, it depends on, because some apartments I've seen will sit dormant for months. So now they'll say like, okay, no key money or no gift money. So it is changing a bit, but it depends on, again, the realtor or the rental agency as to exactly what you need to do. So I like to go in 30-minute early and stay 30 minutes late. Then I'm half Japanese. You're talking about the work hours. Yeah, I show up about 10 minutes early, but I leave right on the dot, if not earlier. don't tell my boss. But again, I could, I might work my regular 8-hour shift, but I don't complain when I'm working a 13-hour day either. So just depends. Come on. I don't know why it keeps going in and out. That's weird. Is it true that you cannot own a car if you have no parking in Tokyo? Yes, kind of. When you buy a car, you actually have to prove that you have a parking space. So, and it's kind of a weird system, I thought, but you actually need to show that, and that's why, like in a lot of Japanese neighborhoods, you'll see an empty lot, and it's just basically a parking lot because people are renting those places to park their cars because maybe they have 2 cars and they only have one spot, one spot in their house. We don't have typical driveways here in Japan. I would say more often than not, most houses, you kind of park. They have like the overhang of the house, and then you kind of park in the little alcove or whatever it is. So it can get a bit crazy. How do you feel about purchasing property in Japan, like say a home or a condo? I've owned before in Canada. I've owned here in Japan. I built a house in 2011 from the ground up in Saitama, where my ex-wife and my son live right now. It just depends, I think, what your lifestyle is and what you want. The house that I built in 2011, the good thing that when we did it is we could have it our way. That sounded like a Burger King commercial. Have it your way. But in Japan, I don't know about where you guys are from, like you have your community where you sign up and you got to do the area cleaning and and all the maintenance and things like that. Whereas living in a condo, you just pay a maintenance fee and everything's taken care of except for your inner apartment areas. So hopefully that answers it. But I don't know. Renting is just a lot easier for a foreigner, I think. So the other cons that I have, I just want to finish this up, and this is a big one, is communication. If you cannot speak a lick of Japanese, you're going to have a hard time communicating. This might sound really weird. I don't know why I wrote this down, but no individualism. If this makes sense to you guys, Japanese, I don't know why, but maybe it's more of the workforce itself, but they have a group thinking. Good topic for tonight, by the way. Well, thank you. I hope that's what you meant. No, like Japanese, like you've seen me do my walkabout vlogs or, blah, 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 blah. Like they all wear the same suit, the same shirt. They all belong to the same group. Nobody wants to stand out and be different. So there is really no individualism. And I would say from about 30 years old and up. The younger you are, there's more individualism. They're more with the times. They're more 2018, things like that. But yeah, I think that's why. Taxes here in Japan. Income tax, not the greatest system. I know back home, like, you start getting your income tax ready by April or whatever it was. I think like Moto Gnome, you could probably attest to this. I don't know. I'll get to your question in a sec. Is like, I remember when I did my taxes, they included the federal tax and the OHIP. I never actually paid my Ontario health insurance every month. I don't know if that's changed or not. But here they don't do that. Basically, the company actually does my taxes for me. So I get like a $100 rebate every year. It's not much. Oh, we also pay city tax. Everybody in Japan pays city tax starting in June. For depending on how much you make from the previous year, and that's going directly to the city. And it's about an average of about $1,500 a year. You can pay it in one lump sum. You can pay it in like June, August, November, and January of the following year in four installments. So yeah, there's different taxes and stuff. A lot of foreigners complain about it, but as I would always say, shogunai. So what are condo fees like and what do they include? I really don't know. You'd have to talk to Hiromi about that. I just know that I pay half of it every month, and the male chauvinism. This is kind of a weird one, but a lot of men, and I'm not going to say too much bad about this, I guess, but a lot of men think that they're like way up here and the women are down here. They always, condescend, especially like corporate men seem to always have a condescending manner towards them. I'm not even going to get into it. I don't know why I wrote this, but male chauvinism. Yeah. Foreigners get blamed a lot. This is something that foreigners always complain about. But especially like, as an example, if you live in a typical apartment here in Japan, not like what I live in, but, the one room kind of things. Oh, no monthly fee for a hip? Okay. If there is noise coming from anywhere in the like little strip apartment style thing, and basically what I'm talking about is like you might have 5 apartments on the bottom and 5 apartments on the top. And in the middle on the top might be the one foreigner that lives there. No matter where the noise is, the foreigner will get blamed. Or because the walls are thin, like as a foreigner, you really do have to, I don't know, be respectful for your neighbors and stuff, but don't blare your TV 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Like it only makes sense, right? But as an example, one of my teachers, his neighbor was making a lot of noise all the time, and the people downstairs would complain that it was the foreign guy. And so we moved him out, and we left that apartment empty for 3 months, and the complaints still kept coming in. And finally, after talking to the company, it was actually Leo Palace, nobody's living in that apartment. And they realized that it was the other guy. So it's just too easy to blame foreigners. Smoking is a con. Even though I smoke, having open smoking areas where, okay, this is no smoking, and right beside you is smoking. They're getting a little better, and I really hope that they do get better when the Olympics, the World Cup comes next year. The Olympics are coming. But smoking needs to, like Japan needs to get with the times with the rest of the world, it seems, where you should have no smoking in pretty much every establishment here in Japan. Have your smoking areas outside, because you still need to take care of the smokers and me. No, I should not walk around the street smoking, but I still do. But I do agree that smoking is still a problem here in Japan. There are so many people, come on, really, that smoke in Japan. And I think it's because it's cheap. Like I pay $4.60, $4.50 American, whatever you want to call it, for a pack of cigarettes here, Marlboros. And alcohol. I was just in this store yesterday called Yamaya. It's like the international alcohol goods store. And I was looking at some whiskeys, and I saw, like, even though it's tequila, Cuervo Gold, a Ford, was it 750 or, well, 26 or a 40 pounder? I don't know what you guys call that, so in milliliters or whatever, but it was like $15. Dewar's Scotch whiskey was like $12 for maybe 750 mil. I was looking at a bottle of Jameson's was $16 for a 1 liter bottle. And I'm going to go back and get it this weekend, I think. They have the stout Jameson's, where the whiskey is made in beer casks or something. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but it's the first time I'd ever seen it. So it's the taxes that make it expensive in the US, right? So smoking and drinking, relatively cheap here. And then the last con, even though we cannot help it, living here in Japan, is natural disasters. I'm not going to say huge typhoon now because I think it's been downgraded. It was a super typhoon when it was out in the middle of the Pacific. It's going to hit Japan, I think, tomorrow morning, tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, something like that. Sorry, Fidelity, your question got flagged here. I'll show that, sure. I do have certain things flagged on different words and stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't, it's not acceptable, right? But yeah, typhoons, earthquakes, tsunamis, it's all part of it, I guess. Earthquakes are so popular here. You get used to it, honestly. And after a while, if you don't have an earthquake, I know I do, people actually sit there and think like, oh, we haven't had an earthquake in a while. Last time I did that, oh shit, we're gonna have one today now. I could actually move my monitor and pretend I have an earthquake. No. The last time I said that, all of a sudden we had like a 6.0 earthquake. But the way Japan architecture is, and so on and so forth, and all the things that are installed for early warning systems and things like that, unless you're having like a really huge earthquake like we had back in 7 years ago, these little four pointers, 5 pointer, not little, but they're not, you don't have to worry too much about them. So do you use those designated public smoking boxes outside? I do. I've seen a large one in a park in Ikebukuro. I was just actually probably at the same one yesterday. They do have it. Where was I? Actually, I was in both. There's one on the west side it's kind of like a stage area. There's a big smoking area there. And then there's a park on the east side, right in the middle of, there's not a big park, a little park. It's got a couple things, but it's mostly just dirt. They have big smoking areas, but at least they try to keep you in the same area. So those prices are 1/3 of here almost. Yeah, they are. I bet they are. So yeah, that's kind of basically what I got for pros and cons. There are a lot of pros and cons, but as a foreigner, here and complain about the country of Japan, you could say good things, you could say bad things. I'll say this to anybody that visits Japan and or wants to live here. If you don't like or you want to complain about Japan, leave. Japan is an amazing country, an amazing culture. It is expensive compared to like Thailand or Vietnam, more of the southeast areas. But you know what? Hey, morning, Andy. If you don't like Japan, don't live here. If you to your fullest extent, because it is an amazing country. It is my home. I will live here, die here, breathe here, blah, 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 because right now going back to Canada, I think would be very difficult for me. And honestly, I don't have, I got a few more years before I retire, but hopefully the pension plan here in Japan is still going to be okay in 15 years. but I'll have a Japanese pension, a company pension, my Canadian pension for the last, what, 45 years or so. So, well, once I hit 65 anyways, because I've been working since I was like 18, 19. So yeah, things, might be good. So I don't know, maybe I'm a little biased on it, but Japan is awesome. There are good things and bad things. There are things that I agree with. There are things that I don't agree with. But usually, and I hate to say this for all you Thailand lovers out there or whatever, but I still think Japan is the #1 rated Asian country. It's first class all the way. It's it's a great culture, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Southeast Asian countries. I just think it's better developed as a whole. That's just my take, and if you disagree, I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion, I guess. So, but it doesn't stop me from wanting to go. And like, I know Andy was in Vietnam last few weeks ago or last week or whatever it is. JB, what are you doing? Well, and the beautiful women. I'm sorry. Again, I think Japanese women are the most sophisticated, well-mannered, unselfish, and selfish, beautiful women in the world. That's just my opinion, though. And you get along with them. You don't get along with them. But, oh, yeah. Wow. Japan is #1. Thank you. Do you rent out your balcony? What the hell? I will put a cover up. I'll get a bed for you, Al. No problem. No problem. So yeah, that's my take on pros and cons. That's just me. That's my opinion. And I really enjoy Japan. It's obviously a pretty awesome place to live for me. Living in Tokyo, it's like one of the greatest cities in the world. So how could you not like it, right? Sean P., that is certainly a good attitude to have, Drew. It's so easy for people to complain. If you're one, do something about it and move to a place that agrees with you more. Yeah, exactly, right? Like if you want to complain about Japan, oh, it's too expensive, well, go to Thailand. You can still have the Asian culture. It's hard to compare Japan against any other Asian country, to be honest. I know Cambodia and Laos and Vietnam and Thailand all have similarities and stuff, and they have their own way about stuff, right? But oh, thanks, Andy. I'm glad you really do enjoy Japan. I know you've been here a couple times in the last year or so. So, and China's its whole own new world. Korea, I actually really enjoyed Korea. It gave me a taste of Japan. It gave me a taste of China. It gave me a taste of back home in Canada. Like Korea has so much influence from every other country around it. It's pretty awesome too. Korea is a pretty good place to live, I would think. If I had to choose other than Japan, it would probably be Korea, because I really liked it. Some guy on Airbnb rented out a tent in his backyard in Silicon Valley. No way. That is hilarious. Probably got a good high price too. So yeah, if you ever do decide to come to Japan, let me know. I would love to help you. I've had a few people reach out. I actually had somebody come from Thailand. I forget his name now. He asked me about hotels and stuff. It was about 2 weeks ago or something. He was coming for a visa run or something. And I forgot. I didn't see his message until like 4 days afterwards, because the day he landed, he put something and then landed. But because I get so many Facebook messages and I always check just on my cell phone, it got pushed down to the bottom. I didn't see it for the longest time. And I kind of thought he ignored me. And then I saw it and it was just like, oh man, And I'm sure he's back in Thailand now, but I would love to have met up with him. I didn't know who it was, but I will try to help you out as much as possible. Hopefully, whoever you were, if you watched the replay and you got this far in the video of an hour and a half, I'm sorry that I didn't help you. But I have helped Moto Gnome when he was here. I've helped I met Andy when he was here. And you guys have seen me help a few other people. So any advice that I can give you, I'm happy to do it because, you guys are part of the community. You do join me. And now my voice is getting hard because I've been talking for an hour and a half. I think we're all here because we love Japan. Definitely not because of Drew. Yeah, I don't know. My nose is itchy. Okay. Somebody's phoning. Oh, well. Anyways, guys, I got to get out of here. It's been an hour and a half, a lot longer than I thought I would be here, as usual. I appreciate every single one of you. Just a real shout out to Moto Gnome. I will be working on the hat that you had talked about. We're having a bit of graphics problem, but OMS t-shirts. It's the answering machine now. OMS hats will be out in the next couple of days. Typhoon's coming. Hopefully it doesn't affect us very much, but hey, thank you all. I would like to hang out with you too, Colonel, if you ever get your ass over here. That'd be pretty cool. Thanks, Nathan. Later, guys. Always keep it real, keep it raw. Stay true to yourself, really. It's the most important thing you can do in life. I'm out of here. Have a great weekend. And, oh, yeah, by the way, my cell phone is out of data until Monday, so I can't live stream again unless I'm at home. But Monday, Tuesday next week, live stream somewhere in Shinjuku, somewhere, wherever I go. Keep it real, y'all. Thanks for joining. Have a good day. Good night. Good evening. Good weekend. Bye.